Hello friends, this is Jeannie from my doll room, Jeannie from Metal Dollhouse Rescue, and we are going to look at a house tonight, and I thought I'd share it with you and I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to clean this house and I'm going to, I think, disassemble it, and I thought it might be interesting for you to watch me do that. And then I'm going to have it ready to go, and I'm hopefully going to sell it on our next Saturday sale. All right, here's the house. It is a Marx Colonial house. This is identical to the house that I had as a child. This is not my childhood house. I still have it, but this one is identical. And that's why I'm going to get it ready to sell. Look, I've got Grandma down here watching, and I've got a new friend for her. This is Goldilocks from Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and she keeps Grandma company, and I think she's a teenager. She's like as tall as Grandma, so she's like a teenager, I think. But they make a pretty good pair, and Grandma's keeping an eye on stuff. So we are going to clean this house so I can have it ready to sell, and then we are going to disassemble it, and I thought you'd be interested in watching that. Now the house is in good shape. It's got a few dings up here. The roof line's fairly straight, but there are a few dings on the roof. And we'll, if those need straightened, I will do that, but the roof line's pretty straight, so I might not be concerned about that. There is very little rust on the house, very little missing paint, maybe a little bit down in here. But anything that needs touched up on me, I will make an effort to do that. Let's get this cleaned and then take it apart. As you may recall, I like to clean my houses with rubbing alcohol. I do that first because that removes any residue, any oil, any like fingerprints that will help take off. It does a good job cleaning the rust. If you do a nice light coat and don't rub hard, it will not hurt your graphics. And I always spray on my wet rag first, and then I wipe it off. So I'm going to use, I think this house is going to need just rubbing alcohol done to it because it's not really dirty. It's a little dusty. It's got a couple spots that need cleaned, but it is not really dirty. There we go. Had a little trouble getting that sprayer to go, but it's going now. All right. Wipe it down. I'm going to try to do this without getting too much in the way of the camera view. We'll see how it goes. Getting quite a little bit of dust off of there, but it's just surface dust. This house is not real dirty. I have owned this house for just a few months. There's a grandma's side. I found something very interesting about this house. I thought it was identical to my childhood home, but I found out it is not. On my childhood home, this kitchen wall, the wall between the living room and kitchen, goes all the way back flush to this wall in the far back. But in this house, there's like a little passageway back there, like a little hallway. Now, I know, oh, you can't see my fingers. I know that there is a little bit of variety in these. But let me get that light adjusted so you can see that. I think you'll be able to see this now. Look, there's a gap back there, and it's wide enough my hand can go through it. And look at my little girl, my little Goldilocks, she can pass through it. I think that is so interesting because my house does not do that. Now, I know there is some variation in these houses because some of them have a stairway here, and when there was a stairway here, this wall's moved over a little bit. So I don't know if it has to do with just a different size apart like that, but it's clearly the way it was assembled. There's actually a little room there for a passageway, which is really kind of cool. But it is a little bit different than my house. My childhood house does not have that. All right, I'm going to turn this around and clean it on the other side now. All right, let's give this side a good cleaning too. We'll wipe off the roof. Now that I wiped it off, oh, I took it off with a Lazy Susan. It was getting a little annoying the way it was kind of jiggling around when I was trying to wipe it. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to go over it with one of these Armor All wipes. I think this is probably reversed for you, but these are Armor All interior detailer wipes. And I learned from our group, our Facebook group, that these are really nice for doll houses. And they actually will not only clean, but add a little shine to your house too. So let's go over it with this just to spruce it up and make it look very, very nice and a little extra clean. Yes, that did help, and I'm going to go over the other side with that too. There are just a little bit of roof bend here, not bad. I do have the missing chimney. It's not on here now, but I do have that. I think it's here on my workbench. Here it is. So that will go up there on top. There are a couple of faint scratches here where the paint is gone, but honestly, I had to even touch it to know for sure that that was a scratch, and maybe a few over here. But as I said, no rust on this house that I can see, and very little in the way of any other damage. It's just a nice house, and it's nice and sturdy and strong. Let me turn it around and wipe the other side with that Armor All. Okay, I've got it cleaned up. Now, as I take it apart, if I find dirty areas, I will absolutely clean that just a little bit more, but it's pretty good shape otherwise. Okay, for those of you that have never taken a dollhouse apart, I thought I would show you how it's done, and I'll maybe even give you some hints and tips to use as we go. First of all, I have put the chimney back up here just so I could take some pictures of this house, and I didn't bend the tabs down, so it will pretty easily come off. If it didn't easily come off, you'd have to reach inside the house and straighten these little tabs here out in order to get that lifted off. Step number 1, that's off. Now we're going to do the roof. Now what I use is a steak knife from my knife set. I don't like to use anything sharper for fear I might get cut or something. The other thing you need to do, you're going to put this under the tab and lift up on it, and you want to not jam too much like this, and be careful that you don't let it slip and go like that and make a big long scratch up the roof of your house or the wall of your house. So try to get the tip of it under there and lift that up just a little bit. Once it's lifted up, it's not too hard to get your thumb under there and lift it up a little bit more. Now I'm not going to straighten it up all the way. You probably can't see that, but it's not straightened up all the way, because the less you bend these, the better. And this house I don't think has ever been taken apart before. But I am going to sell it. I'm going to ship it flat, so it's going to have to come apart. Lift up on that one just a little bit. Now once you get that lifted up a little bit, if you need to, you could take like a needle nose plier and bring him up just a little bit more if you thought you needed to in order to get that roof off. That one's pretty good. I'm going to do this side. Same thing over on this side here. 2 tabs. All right, let's turn it around and get the other side done. This side has a few more roof tabs. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will get those lifted up next. All right, let's see if we can get it off, if it's loose enough. That wasn't too bad once I got it started. Here we're able to get a good view of this stability bar that is, I see it on some dollhouses. I don't know if it came with all of them, and then sometimes it's missing, but this house has got it in place. Now, if that's missing, that helps keep the walls, the front of your walls here from, it keeps them tight or firm or strong, the front of your bathroom walls on each side. Now, if your house is missing that, or maybe it never did come with one, you could take a hanger and bend it to that same shape and poke down into those rolls there. There's this rolled metal and there's a hole at the top, and that will stabilize the front of your bathroom walls for you. So that gives you a good view of that. Okay, now we're going to work on the wall. So same thing, I'm going to find these tabs, get my knife under there, loosen them up just a little bit, and then try to get my finger under there to loosen them up the rest of the way. Be careful to not scratch your walls any more than possible. Here you can see that rolled hole where that tube, that bar, that wire was poked down into to make that wall stable. And this is what the bar looks like, or the wire. To get this floor off, there's tabs here along the back that have to be straightened out. Now, the person that put this together did a nice job of assembly. Instead of just leaving those kind of flat when they put them in, they actually had bent them up. I had to take my needle nose pliers and put them in there and straighten each one of those out a little bit, pry them down a little bit to straighten them out. They were like curled up in order to hold that house together nice and tight. So I had to straighten each one of those down. So now I think with a little bit of hammering on it, I think this floor is going to come off. Let's see how it goes. Where that pops off, I'm going to have to straighten out these tabs here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that have to be straightened off, so I can pull this end off before I can get that floor up. So let's get that done. I had trouble with that last tab. Had to turn the house upside down, but I was able to get that off successfully. So, in the meantime, this part just fell off on its own. And now we're down to that, and that has come off on its own. So now that this house is apart, I can see I can give it one more good cleaning. There's a little line of dirt along there. But other than that, it's really good. There's a little bin there I can get straightened out. So there's a few other little things I can do to enhance this house. But it is successfully apart, and it really didn't take too long. That last tab was the hardest to do. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go tonight, but you can watch for this to come up for sale. You may see it before I even get this little video edited. But at any rate, at least you'll know it's not all that hard to take those houses apart. I almost could have used a third hand during part of this. So if you have somebody around to help you out, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. Okay, dear friends.